Hey guys, Crafty here from Living in Beta, and in today's video we return to our beloved Cyberpunk 2077 to explore what exploits still work in the year 2022. Now of course it's more important to note that there are many exploits in Cyberpunk across the board, in PC slightly different. In this video we're going to focus on those on console that help with building up your eddies and or farming XP and street cred, very much like we've been doing on the channel since day one. It's also important to note this video is relating to what's doable in patch 1.31. So if you're in the future and you're watching this, I'm sorry. Check out our other videos. As we edge closer to the big Cyberpunk drops, new things will appear. We will have covered it, and don't worry, it's all there for you. Also, to accompany this video, we'll be listing the more in-depth guides that we have created already in the description below, and we're using this video as more of a whistle-stop tour of what's working, with brief descriptions on how things are done. But for more in-depth guides, as we said, check the description below. So yeah, it's nice to be back. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let's get into it. Okay, so first we're going to be obviously talking about the one we know and love, the crafting method that is the Ashura sniper rifle. Now we keep going back to this because it's the easiest way to make eddies currently in the game after the duplication glitch obviously being patched, and right now crafting is still great, though there is some caveats to this. So I see a lot of videos that don't explain that you actually are going to need a character that's half decent level, right? So you're going to need to at least be a level 15 to get enough crafting points for your character to get to tech ability 18, first and foremost. Secondly, you're going to need to be able to craft legendary items, right, which is why you need to be at 18. So you're going to need to craft legendary items. And then there's other crafting perks here, reducing the component cost of crafting items, 20% the chance to craft items for free. These kind of things are excellent to have as well. They're not necessary first and foremost, just because it's not like an armadillo crafting glitch where we're trying to up the quality back in the day. This is just about selling legendary sniper rifles, but the more of these you get, the better it will be cost-wise, right? Now, secondly, I'm going to bring you to the place where obviously the Ashura crafting spec is, though as of right now I'm pretty sure you can find it in multiple places just of how they've changed the crafting setup. But to get there, you want to come to the Watson area, more specifically the fast travel point that is Bellevue Overwalk. This will obviously bring you to here. Then you can hop this fence like so, don't get hit by a car, come down these stairs, and then you'll be able to get onto this ledge here, and you want to make your way over this ledge, jumping over here like so. Now sometimes there's missions here to attack a gang and blah blah blah. I've obviously already done that, so it's not going to be here to show you, but you'll make your way through here, walking past everyone, and the crafting recipe will be here. You'll pick that up, and then we'll go to a special vendor to craft it. Okay, so of course when it comes to crafting, we're going to need to talk about materials as well. Now there's a lot of vendors out there in Night City that allow you to buy crafting materials, but there's about 5 or 6, correct me if I'm wrong, there might be more, that sell every type of crafting material that you need to craft anything in the game, right? Now there's lots around the middle of Night City, but the one I favor is down here in the Badlands area at the bottom of Night City, closest fast travel point being the fuel station, and it's a little junk shop just off the road there. Now the reason I chose this guy is you're able to wait 24 hours in front of him, which cuts down a lot of speed, of course, and he obviously again sells every material. So what you want to first do is buy every material you can. Now I know I've got a lot of eddies here, but this can kind of be started at any point. The minimum you need is between, I would say, around 1,000 eddies. The reason for that is to make one Ashura crafting spec or make the gun itself, you're going to need between 500 to 700 eddies depending on what perks you've got. So as long as you've got that, you can make one, and then one is worth here for me at level 44 it's worth 3,454, as you can see. But even at a level 15, when I've advised you to maybe start this, it's going to sell for around 15 eddies. So you can see there you're almost doubling your profit, and when it comes to the higher level you get, you're almost tripling your profit, right? So what you want to do is just buy them all. You don't need the upgrade ones, of course, but just for just to show you that you can buy them all and they replenish. I'm going to buy them all here. And you're essentially going to buy as many materials as you can until he runs out of stock, okay? Or until you run out of eddies, of course. If you've still got eddies in there, then you would, of course, back out. Wait those 24 hours for his shop to replenish. And then you'd go back in and repurchase all the materials. Now you're going to continue doing this, as I said, until you run out of eddies. The reason we do this now before crafting the weapon is we buy as many as we can, and then obviously we'll look at crafting the weapon when we've got the max amount of materials that we've got. Okay, now what you want to do once you've done that and you've run out of eddies, you want to go back over to the fast travel station here, the fuel station, so we can use the drop point. I'll see you there. Okay, so once you arrive at the drop point, you of course want to pull up and get out, as always. And the reason we come to a drop point and don't use that vendor is vendors have a varying amount of eddies on them, and they don't always replenish at the right, at the highest amount possible. With drop points, as we know, when you visit a drop point, you're always going to get that 20,000 eddies every time you visit, and every time you fast forward 24 hours, you're going to get that 20,000 back. So it's a very consistent way of selling items until you, of course, run out. Now, I know I've got Ashuras on me there, but let me just show you the crafting. So you'd go in, you'd find the spec. It's a good point to note at this point as well that although the Ashura is favoured and probably seen a lot out there, it's because of how much you can sell it for. Other sniper rifles like this, the Unica Mata, sells for not too dissimilar price, only a couple of hundred eddies less, so you can use mostly any snipers. Other weapons are not as good. Your sell to material cost is not as great, so just bear that in mind. Now, you would of course craft this as much as you can until you run out of materials. Obviously, I've got quite a lot of materials there, but you'll eventually run out. Now, if you're leveling up, if you've got crafting level 18, but you haven't leveled up the crafting bar as well, this is a quick way to get that up. Now, once you've got the desired amount, you would go into selling, and then of course you would just sell every single one that you've got until the drop point is out of eddies or you're out of weapons to sell. It's important to note as well, the reason why you would come here is you might have the point where you've, like myself, have got a lot of eddies, and you want to spend all of that 933 on materials. It's a bit of a slog, but you could do that. You're going to easily become overcumbered when it comes to weapons, right? But then you could I could triple this 933 now into triple that eddy amount just by doing it until I run out. You don't want to have to travel far. If we do it over at that vendor and have to make it here, it's just going to be longer. You can be overcumbered all you want near the drop point. Anyway, you'd sell as much as you can. Skip 24 hours, of course. And then you would visit again and then rinse and repeat. You can see it's got 20k back in there now, so you can continue to do this. And you'll just continue to do this until you've ran out of Ashura guns to sell. Pretty simple and effective. Lots of benefits. The only downside, again, is needing to be that high level of crafting. But that's not too impossible. And when it comes to something getting you ready for the new big patches coming out and you want a lot of eddies, or you want to finish a few things off before that comes out, this is a great way to make those eddies late game. So yeah, that's the first method. Let's get on to the next one. Now the second exploit for eddies and XP, etc., brings us back to our lovely friend, the Sasquatch. This is one that's been around probably since the start of Cyberpunk 2077, especially in the patches where the game started to become more playable. This has been here, a very weird one to be honest, but it's still there. So I'm not going to go through all the details in terms of how you get to this point, but you need to be on the quest, as you can see on the right hand side. I walk the line, and that'll bring you to a position here where you need to kill the Sasquatch. Now, what you're going to do, run up to her, of course, and have a scrap. Try and do your business. Don't miss her like that, like a legend. You see on the back of her, she's got a purple area that you can hit, which hurts her. I just got owned by her hammer. And then you'll just chop away until she gets down. Now, once she hits the ground, you'll see the quest updated in 15k. Put in your bank. You've got 263 now on this character. You'll say you think she's had enough. And at this point, with the red reticle still on her, you will save the game. Making a brand new save. That's very important. And then secondly, you'll come out. You'll swing and kill her. Loot her body. and then you will save the game once again in a new save spot. Okay, and from there, you know, we've got 263. In terms of eddies, you'll go into load game and you'll load that brand new save that you just made. This will then obviously bring you back into that save file. I can't believe this one is still working, to be honest. I think I've said this in multiple videos, but you'd think this would be one that would be patched. Obviously it's a niche, you need to be at this part of the game. But anyway, when you load it back up, the reticle is still red. I'm still at 265 where I was, and then of course you'd kill her again and you get another 15k, so bringing me up to 280, and you can rinse and repeat from there. She's still killable. Now, one thing I will say, again, the niche there is you'd need to be at a certain point in the game with the quest line, which doesn't make this as accessible as the crafting one. And once you've done this, killed her and moved on and saved past this point, you'll also lose the opportunity to do this. So just bear that in mind, but it's still in the game. The more in-depth guide will be in the description below. But yeah, the Sasquatch is still about. Let's use her while we can. Okay, so now we're going to move on to what's my favourite part of Cyberpunk 2077 exploits, and that's the farming spots around Night City. So you've seen a couple of these on the channel already, but they're still working and they're still great for new players and old players to level up a multitude of different parts of their character. So what do I mean by a farming spot or method? So what you'll do is you'll come to a location. So the first location we're going to discuss is down here in Pacifica. Fastest fast travel point, closest fast travel point is West Wing Apartments. Or you've got the Grand Imperial Mall there, and you want to start on this kind of corner of this building here, or at least probably a better reference point, the corner of this clothing store. And what we're going to do essentially is move around a circuit, picking off enemies as we go, and as we kill people, we will of course be getting XP for doing so, street cred if you weren't maxed out already, looting their bodies, which can gain items to sell. Of course, there's lots of shops around here to drop off the items to sell. And of course as well, leveling up different parts of your character within that certain area. For example, if you punch people, you'll get your athletics up. Yeah, you know, that's just one example, but anything you use to kill enemies will of course move that up, as well as things like cold-blooded and stealth if you want to go down that route. Now, this again is in Pacifica. It's one of my favorite farming spots. And the reason why I like it is it works on a rotation quite easily. There's lots of enemies, and also it changes and kind of grows as you grow as a character. So what you want to do first is take out these enemies here. Now it's important to note, sorry, before I start, I'm on normal difficulty for reference, which gives you about 50 to 70 XP per kill. A little bit more street cred, 100 to 200, but you won't see street cred in this video just because I'm already maxed out. Obviously, the higher the difficulty, the more XP you get. But to be honest with you, the reason why I'm on normal, you know, hashtag the haters in the chat, is you don't get that much more XP for doing it on very hard, but it takes a lot longer. Of course, I like to play on a harder difficulty in general, but don't be ashamed to use normal. Now, you'll take out these enemies using whatever weapon you like. This character is into his shotguns, so we're going to do that. Get that spread kill and take these out. XP will pop up now and again on the left. You won't see much of it though. It's a bit of a weird one in this game where it, you know, takes time to pop up. You can see already there my stealth went up by 544 just by attacking those enemies. You can see 207 there. So it varies. That was probably about 30 XP per kill on normal, right? So it varies depending on the difficulty of the enemy. You want to then move your way around and go up these stairs. You'll see a group of 3 people here. You want to take those out. Now, the old traditional way you've seen people do is take out enemies over there. I like to go a longer way, but I will take these out for reference now. So you'll take these ones out, and you won't continue around this. You'll go back on yourselves. We'll go back on ourselves. I'm also not going to loot the enemies for the reference to this video as well. Of course, there's loot there. You can pick that up. And I don't want to say this is an unlimited eddies way, but all that loot, you can rinse this as much as you want, right? The only enemy you've got in this is time. So anyway, you'll go up those stairs, you'll pop out those, take out those, come back and come to here. There'll be people playing a game or whatever, eating some random food here. You take these out. Now you can, if you want to, in a longer method, go down into this building site and take out enemies. There is a quest down there to do that, well, a side quest kind of NCPD mission. Don't necessarily need to. That's if you want to long it out. You don't come over here now. There's not always enemies here. but there's police holding down enemies there. I won't get involved because 9 times out of 10 I kill the cops, but that's easily killable as well. And then you'll see there's also enemies here which don't always spawn, but they're here, so you can take them out when they do. This is kind of randomly happens throughout the run. Obviously you'll be fast forwarding 24 hours every time. Now you've got enemies here as well. The cops have got angry for some reason. I must have killed a civilian. Anyway, you'll take out these ones here, and you'll make your way down through this kind of corridor, take a left. Now once taking a left, you want to make your way up to the road here, and there's a building site over here which has more enemies in that kind of you don't really notice until you find it for the first time. So we'll go in here. They're having a little party of sorts, chatting about nonsense. So we'll take these ones out. They haven't got a clue what's going on the invisibility attachment, which is great. Take those ones out, getting obviously the experience for doing so. And then you'll go into this back corner over here, and you'll see some more enemies. I don't know, pretending to be boxers or something. Take those out as well. And make your way around. There's enemies usually here sat watching the TV. We'll pick those off. And you can see we've done what probably, from what obviously you guys wouldn't know that, but about a third of the run, and I'm already leveled up. I wasn't obviously I was already halfway through the level, but it's important to note that getting XP. Make your way around here, and sometimes there's enemies in here. Now if you've killed them once already, they usually don't spawn, but I just wanted to show you this just to make sure you understand it. You then come out, work your way around, of course. This is obviously sprinting as well as building up your attributes as well, athletics, but the reason why I haven't got a stamina bar is a perk I'm using. For any reference there. You'll then take these enemies off the corner. Take those out, and then work your way around. Now, coming up in a second, there'll be enemies that don't always spawn, or enemies that won't spawn unless you've done certain quests. You'll take out these enemies down here, and you'll make your way around this side. Now, naturally, in this run through on this character, because it's a newer character, even though it's a higher level, it's my third playthrough, this isn't going to happen on this run, but there's sometimes a party happening around here, dancing around cars, etc. That will happen after certain quests that happen in the game. In the obviously bigger video that we link in the description, you'll be able to see the specifics there. And then you'll look around for any enemies. Obviously there's none here, and then you'll make your way down the stairs. Now when you go down the stairs, you'll make your way to the right through the shrubbery, and then there's enemies on these stairs here. Take these out. Now with this run, there's a lot of doubling back just for the fact that it's kind of taking into consideration 2 types of enemy spawns. Now on another playthrough in the big video that you'll see, there's enemies here around a car as well, but that will only happen once certain things happen in the storyline. So you'll go back and you'll pop off these 2 enemies here, or 3 enemies, sorry. And sometimes as well there's enemies spawning up there. There won't be for this character again, but just bear that in mind. Work your way around. Now you can either take a right here, which is what I'll be doing, or you can go across there, and sometimes there's enemies outside the front of the Second Amendment shop. They can always be popped off as well. You'll then go over to these, chop these guys off. Or girls. No discrimination here. Pop these off, and then for reference we'll go and take this big geezer out as well. And then there's enemies around this corner here. Take those out as well. Cool. And then essentially you've got yourself back to where we started. Now there's a situation where you can see it happening here already. Enemies have already spawned by the time you've come around the whole rotation. Doesn't always happen like that, but you can see they've spawned there, they spawned there already, and there's still loot on the floor from where we attacked them. Doesn't mean it will happen in every spot though, so sometimes what I do is I back away as far away over there as possible and do a 24-hour skip in time, and then come back and rinse and repeat. So yeah, that's the Pacifica Farm spot, quite easily, one of the best in the game. Good XP, good street cred, of course. Loads of shops around to sell loot that you pick up, so you'll never come overcumbered. And easily to rinse and repeat. The only enemy on this one really is the time you're willing to take. Let's move on to the next farm spot. So the last of the farming spots that I want to talk about today is a golden oldie of the channel, the Santo Domingo farm spot. So, as is in the name, you want to visit the Santo Domingo area, and then the closest fast travel point would be the mega building H7, or there is one, of course, over here at the Arasaka Industrial Park. You want to make your way over to the building you see here, and we're going to go into this kind of parking lot area there. Now, this is similar to the other one in terms of, difficulty increasing your XP you receive. You're still going to get the ability to upgrade your different abilities that your character has, depending on the weapon you use and the things you do in the fights, i.e. stealth or cold-blooded, etc. And then, of course, you'll still get that street cred, which is quite heavy in this, alongside, of course, picking up loot. Though there isn't that many shops around this area to sell stuff, there's of course a drop point up there which could be added to your route, but that's just the reason why I quite like the Pacifica one for that. Now, of course, you can see the enemies here. What you want to do is pop off this woman here, take this gentleman out by his car. Then you've got a little card game going on at the table. You pop these ones off, just reload, and you can see the enemies start coming towards you anyway, but you'll pop off these. Again, I'm on normal difficulties, as said, because you don't get that much increase in terms of XP on harder difficulties. It doesn't make sense. It's all that speed over XP on this. Take those out, and basically anyone that comes near you can take out. Now, of course, being level 46 or whatever I am, I'm going to be able to kill them a little bit easier on normal. But again, just take your time as you can, depending on your level, right? And you'll pop off these. A few things to check. This geezer's getting off my grill. There's of course a car here that there'll be enemies at. There's a traditional floating car that we love from CD Projekt Red. This will be in the next patch to drive. And then you'll take out the enemy here. Now this, as I said, there'll be a table there, enemies by that car over there, enemies partying around that car there. Some sort of shooting nonsense going on here, and a couple of enemies by that car and that car there. Of course, I'll be here. You can see people are already turning up already because these come from the sofa over there, where they're chilling and chatting, having a laugh, right? You pop off all these. You can see my stealth's going up there. You do what you can. My level's going up. Pick up the loot as and when. And just kind of rinse and repeat. And then you'll work your way around this area here. Pick off any enemies that come up to you. And I like to wait 24 hours by this road. So for reference, we'll do so. Just come here, wait 24 hours. Of course, make sure you're not in combat. Do that. And then, of course, you could probably go around the back and continue that. But I don't know why. I'm just in this routine of continuing the route. So you would either go up there and drop off sell your items that you've looted in the drop point. Or you'll continue your way around, getting in that cardio that we all need after the Christmas period. Everyone with their New Year's resolutions right now. Just remember to cancel your gym membership in February, right? Because you don't want that coming out your bank. Then you'll come back round here. Now, the only difference with this one over the Pacifica one is consistency of enemy spawn. Now, before, there was an enemy here, enemy over there, and they, of course, haven't spawned. You can see the enemies at the table have now spawned, and certain enemies in the distance will have spawned, but it doesn't always work out. Now, a lot of my community and myself have tried different ways. Running far away does help, because if these dancers get back in, usually that ends up spawning more enemies. You can run away further with 24 hours. There's a couple of sweet spots to make the full area respawn, so try that out and let me know in the comments. But again, you would rinse and repeat and kill off what you can. If it doesn't always work out in terms of the amount of spawn, the amount of people that spawns, just keep going around and do what you can. You can see not a lot of people have spawned here, sadly, this is actually the least amount, ironically, for the video that I've seen spawn. You'll still get the guys here though. Take those out. It seems like a distance thing, right, when it comes to spawn rates. So these ones that were quite far away from where I did it seem to have spawned, but the others didn't. So it's important to make sure that you choose a good enough area to do that 24-hour wait for the spawns. But yeah, that's it. That's the farm spots. I hope you enjoy. Let me know how they go in the comments below. So there it is. That brings us to the end of our exploit farming spot overview in patch 1.31 in the year 2022. As mentioned in the intro, all the content covered in this video is guides that we've pushed on our channel. It's guides that we know work. There may be other exploits and things you may see out there, but after our research, this is the ones we find that still not only still work, but are relevant and probably the best bang for your buck. These will increase the eddies in your pocket, the XP on your back, and of course give you that lovely street cred to start pushing your character forward. This, of course, though, was a very brief look, and all the in-depth guides will be displayed for your viewing pleasure in the description below. Be sure to go check them out and let us know in the comments if you've got any extra tips or hints that we haven't covered. That's always fantastic. As a community, we help each other out, so let's do that. We're always open to learn as well, and if things need to change or different things need to be looked at, we're happy to make those videos. Also, in the interest of a shameless plug, we have those social media accounts for you to follow. Why not hop over and read, watch and take part in all things living in beta. Info for those are now appearing on your screen if by magic, and will be clickable down below as well in the description. So much is down below. Who knew there was so much space, eh? Anyways, as always, thank you so much for watching. Drop a like on the video if you liked it. Share with your friends. Subscribe for more content like this. And remember, don't be a gonk.